You are listening to Live Free with Rebecca Packard. With this podcast, Rebecca will help spiritual entrepreneurs and mompreneurs experience emotional freedom so that they can create calm and balance in all areas of their life. If you're ready to release your emotional baggage, trauma, and that constant feeling of overwhelm, then you are in the right place. Your journey starts now. Here's your host, Rebecca Packard.
Hi, welcome back. It's Rebecca Packard. I'm really excited you guys are tuning in today. I am really excited. We are talking with Derek Nakamura, who is talking to us all the way from Hawaii. Mahalo. We are so excited that you are here. You guys, if you don't know Derek, he is I just can't. I'm so excited to talk about what we're going to talk about that I'm like, put it into words, Rebecca. Derek uses this amazing frequency. It's called the time waver. He creates these lovely frequency healing programs that like infuse nature, and a lot of his frequencies have the energy of Hawaii in them, and he just infuses his love and his energy into these frequencies, and he does them. You can go to his website and you can get them, or he even does like a one-on-one session with you and talks to you about like what are your needs and how can he facilitate that through the frequency. So we're going to talk about all of that and all the other wonderful things that we typically talk about in our conversations. But right now, welcome, Derek. I am so excited to have you here. And for everyone who doesn't know who you are, can you just like give them a little glimpse into you?
Oh, aloha, Rebecca. Yeah. Aloha, everyone else. Well, I'm Derek Nakamura, like she said, and I do live in Hawaii. My roots are in Hawaii, actually. Both my parents are from Hawaii. My father's from the Big Island, and my mom's from the Oahu. They moved to Los Angeles when they were young. I know, I think they just wanted to get away from the island. And somehow they met each other, and I was born there. But I moved to Hawaii when I was 32, actually. The story is my parents told me to move to Hawaii, and when they retire, they'll move here after they finish paying off the house and things like that. And what happened was a year went by and my mother passed away. Mm. Then a year and a half later, my father passed away. And that just told me I'm going to stay here and this is going to be my home. And it actually changed my life because my life was a lot different than what it is now. So it was a complete transformation moving to Hawaii. And it was meant to be.
Wow. That's amazing that they were able to find each other in Los Angeles. And yes. Then that allowed you to have that conversation to go back to Hawaii and have a continued connection with them. That's really lovely. That you're
definitely a connection. Yeah. Because I had an out-of-body experience and I got to meet them. This was in my transition period from when I used to be a thug in the city. Yeah, I was young, and I guess I experienced a lot of things that other people don't. I want to say, and my life was a lot different. And I actually, I went to jail when I was 14. I was addicted to drugs, and I was a drug dealer. So in a way, my parents saved me, and they sent me to Hawaii. I came with a one-way ticket with $700, and here I am today, And anyway, so the out-of-body thing happened, and it was beautiful because they told me you're doing the right thing, because that was the question in my mind at that time. So, am I doing the right thing? And then came out of my body, and then I'm flying around, and they go, I see them, and they go, hi, we love you. And I go, I love you too. And then they said, you're doing the right thing. I said, thanks. And then it was so much fun being out of your body and flying around, because you can go wherever you want. And I was, okay, well, I'm going to fly around a little more. See you later. And yeah, that's what happened. So
yeah, that I I want to emphasize the space of where, because you're reserved and you're like, well, when I was younger, I made some choices and I was in this dark space and these things were going on. And you guys, as listeners, you more probably relate to that. We've all had dark moments. We've all had that dark space of the shadow and that deep space that brought us to the healing that we're able to show up in the world as who we are now. If it wasn't for that story, if it wasn't for where we came from, if it wasn't for the trials and the tribulations and the different things that we had to go through and process, we couldn't be in the space of what we're doing today. We all have that, especially as healers, as people showing up in the world as helpers. And you need to be able to know what are those shoes that you're walking in. Like, I see you for you and you see me for me. And I see that you have a story behind you. And even though we're not all in the space of, oh, so like this one time, remember this one time I did something really awful as a human, like we all have that. So it's all a part of our story. Everyone, we are not saints showing up in this space. We're humans having a human experience. And so bring that human experience, because your space of sharing your story and that space of those trials and tribulations and those heartaches and those deep moments of despair and the spaces that took you to even move into that conversation, bring you into the space of here's the light. Because without the darknesses, there is no light, right? You can't shine a candle in a lit room. It's just not going to be as bright. So I love that you share that. I love that you are open to having that conversation. Many people want to be like, I showed up in the world this fabulous. Like, I don't know who you are, but only Jesus walks on water and none of us do. So like, this ain't happening for me. So I got a lot of stories like that, but none of them are walking on water. So
Exactly. It makes you who you are. And I want to say that, we're talking about healing programs and frequencies, and you're getting all of that. So people always say, well, why does your program feel different? And I want to say, well, you want to know the story, because this is where I came from. This is where I am today. And you're getting all of that. And it's powerful, because I accept that, all of that, like you're saying. There was a reason for that to happen, and it was to show me, where I need to be today, actually. And I want to say I appreciate it, and the biggest thing actually was I forgave myself, and that set me free, and all the other things that was holding me back, they let go. They forgave me. Everything was forgiven. It was like a universal forgiveness. And it was so weird, because I got the message from God. God told me, I asked him if I was a bad person. I talked to God, and he said, no, you just need to forgive yourself and you'll be free. And I just went, are you sure? Is it? He goes, yes. And then he said, my purpose on the earth is to help people. So, I'm here to help people heal themselves. I'm not really the healer. We are all self-healers. And what it is I say, sometimes you just don't have the key. And I can help you. And that's what I do now. And it's so beautiful, because, it's almost like I'm not even working, because you're just doing what you're doing. That's how I can explain it. I don't have a job. I help people raise their vibration, which in turn raises the vibration of the planet.
yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
I love it. I love it. Because that's the thing, is like, when you're showing up in your passion and your purpose, when you're in your true purpose, it doesn't feel like work. Like, people are like, well, how are you doing what you're doing? I'm like, I'm just doing what I know I was meant to do this whole time. But it came to me in the way of conversation and trial and tribulation, and then the different things that put me on the path to meet and connect in the space that I connected with. And you have the same story. Like, it's when you came into the time waver, you were like, wait, I'm going to fly around the world and learn how to do this. And I'm going to be trained in this. And like, the whole time you were probably like, this is the best vacation of my life. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And then you guys are going to tell me that I'm going to like do this. Like, so in the space of the time waver, you actually like, because, okay, I want to just say this out loud, you guys, and some of you who are frequency people, and some of you who are working in solfeggio and binaural, and you are using different things like the Healy or tens and different things like that. There's lots of different frequency things that are out there. And so Derek essentially has this machine and this computer program that writes the programs that go into these things, because a lot of them are taking frequencies, and they're either very focused frequencies in waves, and or they are already created programs plugged into something else that then just plays on like a repeat. He is able to take and make frequencies, especially from heart space, from nature space, from all these different areas. And then he obviously, like, because if you listen to him, he's infusing it with his love and his life force of, he is just like encapsulated, and then shares that out. So I know a lot of people say, well, frequencies are frequencies, but frequencies from the heart are 500,000 times more powerful than AI frequency, than automated frequency, than frequency that just is like, well, I'm a scientific guy behind a computer, and this is what looks good. So a heart frequency changes the magnitude, it changes the level, it changes how this even works within you, because his frequency is shared in these programs, and it is, I see you and you see me. So we're going to just, like, you'll probably hear me say that a bunch of times, because I feel like it's super important that people can recognize that it's very much, I do have some of Derek's frequencies, and when you play them, you really feel that. You really feel the difference of program made by somebody who is completely encapsulated in the process and knows that a piece of them is part of the love that goes into the creation of the program, that shares the divine healing that takes place, versus this looks good together. Let's just put these ones in the box and it'll play and it'll be great. So like, and I know, like, Derek, this is the first time we're face-to-face meeting. We've had lots of conversations, but like, you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm a very animated human being, and my audience knows that. And for those of you just plugging in, like, I like to be really to the point with these conversations so that there's no miss in the space of, like, when we get into frequencies, they're not all the same. So knowing, like, you'll be drawn to certain frequencies, you'll be drawn to certain people who are sharing frequencies, and you're sharing that space with them because they have an essence within that they are either calling in Reiki, or they are calling in their essence, or they're calling in their ancestral force, or they're calling in something bigger than themselves to share in that space. And that's why you, as the person reaching out in that space, are like, oh, this is the one for me. Because we've all done it. Y'all get on YouTube and you're like, zip, 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 zip. And then you're like, boom, that one. It's that one. I know it. I feel it. And then you're like, yes, this is what I needed. And then in the space of what Derek does, that's like next level, because yours are, a lot of your frequencies go through the Healy, right? And so for those of you who are not familiar with Healy is a frequency emitter that you can get, and then you run specific programs on it. We'll talk about that, but in the space of the difference is between that and like a YouTube video, they're not translating the specific frequencies the same way. You're kind of getting somebody's behind the scenes, like, here's the thing, Derek, when you are making your programs and things, tell us about your process.
Okay, well, it's usually an inspiration. Most of my programs are people, messaging me and emailing and saying, can you help me out with this? This is my situation. And so I go, okay, well, give me a little bit. And what I do is I kind of meditate. I meditate. And then I ask the guides, that kind of thing. And it comes together. And sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's long. It's a process. You just never know, because sometimes I'm actually feeling the person. I have their profile or I have a picture and I ask them a little bit deeper questions. I always want to know when it started, how long you've had it, and was there any triggers that caused it? Because, that's the part I want to go after a cause, not chase symptoms around. And maybe that's why the programs are a little bit different, because that's what I'm targeting is the cause. If you have a symptom, it's already kind of too late. So you really want to go get the cause and dig and get that. And what that will do is that puts out the fire, I guess. And then you go, wow, that's what happened. So that's how I do it. And it's like, I think I told someone else, like being a chef, you get to put all these things in your little pot and stir it up and everybody gets to eat it. It's kind of like that, I guess. And you were mentioning, about AI and things like that. If you go to sometimes there's two bakeries next to each other, and then one will have this big old line and the other one won't, and they're selling exactly the same thing. And you just go, wow, that's kind of how it is. It's what you put into it, your love, your energy, your life, your passion. When you have a passion, like you said, it's not even a job. Actually, I started off in massage, and that's kind of when my helping people heal themselves started, because again, I'm not the healer. And these things were coming out of my hands amazing, because I had a healing experience where I cut myself and I needed to get stitches, but I didn't want it. So I said, okay, universe, I want to heal myself. So just send your energy through me and I don't have to go to the hospital and get stitches. Well, all of a sudden this white light came through my crown chakra and started kind of coming out of my hands. And it was like, wow, what do I do? So I put it next to my knee. Everything got so hot, and I ended up falling asleep. But the next morning I woke up, it really looked like I had stitches and I could move my leg without it bleeding. And I just did a self-healing. So we can heal ourselves. That's why I say I'm not the healer. We are the healers because we heal ourselves, but we just need a little help sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing is, like, you guys, empower yourself. We've been taught from very young ages that we need something outside of ourselves, that we need to go somewhere, that we need to believe somebody else to heal what's within us. And we don't. We are all divine energy. We are all one universal, amazing stardust energy. And we have every natural aspect, every aspect of nature within us. And if we have these conversations, if we talk above us and we release our program that has made us believe that we're so small. We're all just a speck of sand here, right? We're all just a tiny speck of sand in a time capsule, but there's something so much bigger than us. And when we call on that with our own free will and we say, oh my gosh, I'm here, I'm ready to receive, I'm ready to connect, I'm ready to let go, I'm ready to surrender, I'm ready to be the hand that helps myself, but through helping myself, I help those outside of me, then you light up, like like quite literally in Derek's situation, you are able to take that life force energy and exacerbate it to healing energy. And you can do that in yourself. They have all these metaphors where people who are like, oh, well, I say this affirmation every day, like I'm a light, I'm a candle, and I'm a light, and I light the other candles, and this is fantastic. And I'm like, but you really are. You are fire energy. You are water energy. You are metal energy. You are wood energy. You are the elemental energy of creation. And in that space, you have everything within you that you need to be able to heal your body and heal your mind and heal your soul and move yourself in the space of your passion, of your purpose, of your divine guidance. And so remember that. Remember to lean into that space. Remember to have that conversation. And don't just use it as like, it's very cliche sometimes when people are like, well, I was on social media. And I love it because it's bringing it more to the forefront, but also like, remember that's you, that's your power. You're drawn to these things. You're drawn to these conversations so you can have more of them. And you can be that person for yourself, because there is no like oh, this person's going to heal everything that's wrong with me. No, you're going to heal everything that's wrong with you because you were led to have a conversation with somebody who has a little bit more insight than you have about the situation that you're in. And they can help you move in that direction in that conversation. Because sometimes we're like, well, I'm not going to listen to myself, but I'll listen to you because you know better than me. And like, so you are divinely guided to that human. So when you have that, like maybe you were on the internet and Derek keeps popping up in your feed and popping up in your feed and popping up in your feed. Listen to him, like check him out, like, because you're calling that information into your space. Because like, that's the other thing is even though Google has funny analytics, you can override that with your own energy. Because you just say, only show me things of my highest and greatest good. Only show me things that bring me purity and peace and lightheartedness and peace of mind and divine healing. Like you can override Google Analytics. So have that conversation with yourself. Derek, in the space of you're doing all these wonderful things, you're doing all this amazing support for the planet and everything. What are you doing like in the space of self-healing for yourself? What are you doing every day to show up for yourself with self-care as someone who gives so freely?
Well, for me, it's just, living in Hawaii and just being around in nature and with not a lot of stuff going on, actually. I do some meditation. I do Zazen, which is kind of a Buddhist, and actually I'm the Zazen president of the meditation group. So it's at the temple that's right up the road here. And the first time I went to do the meditation, I go, gosh, I'm going to try this, because I went to Bali and I had a session with a monk, and the monk said, you need to meditate more. I go, really? Okay, well, what's that? And so they offered it there. My friend said, you should go. So I actually went during a time when it's called Rohatsu, and you got to go every single day for 8 days. That's my introduction into it. So I went for 8 mornings in a row at 6 a.m. And what you do is you go in there, no talking, but you sit down and you face the wall, not out. And it reminded me of when I was in elementary school, because I was that one that, Derek, go sit in the corner, time out, so it kind of reminded me of that. Like, well, I got to take a time out. Okay. So anyway, so, that part, the meditation and just kind of just being there. And that's, that helps me, I guess, prepare for what's the day. It kind of like erases everything and you get to start over. That's how I look. Erase everything and start over. And now you have a fresh day. So that's, it's important to do that. We don't want to carry all this stuff around with us in the backpack. And that forgiveness thing was definitely releasing all the stuff that was in my backpack that was holding me back. And once I did that, I was a free person. So now I know what that's like to release everything, and then you're free. So, you have all this stuff like, anger and that person, my wife did that. It only lasts that long for me, because why carry it around, And then I actually went to see a psychic during all this turmoil time, and she told me your life's like a mirror, so whatever you put out comes back. It's so true, because like my wife starts going, I go, and then it gets, but if she goes, I go, okay, she, it calms things down, just because there's no more fuel for the fire. When you start throwing stuff on the fire, it gets bigger and bigger. So just being that way is a lot. That's how I do it anyway.
Yeah, I love it. Meditation is one of the things that so many people overlook, because it's sitting and it's being still and it's free and it's accessible to everyone. And if more people understood that it's those things that are going to make the pivotal changes, and not the things of like, I gotta go spend $1,000 on some exercise machine outside of myself, and I'm gonna get a membership to do Pilates every single day. Those things are fabulous and they're wonderful. But when you go to a space of stillness, when you go to a space of calm and gentle energy, and you allow yourself to connect, and you allow yourself to just have thoughts, and you bear witness, you don't have judgment, you don't have, just be the neutral space, and you allow it to just move like the ocean, in and out, moving wherever it's going to move, and you just let it, the energy go and flow and be. You can free so much from yourself, and you can take yourself from like, I'm energetic out of my mind, I can't think, I can't stop thinking, because I always hear that. Do you love that? I can't think, but I can't stop thinking. It's because you're just in this chaos and this is panic and like all these different things. Just breathe, help yourself come back into your body, help yourself come back into this moment, help yourself not be afraid of the past or living in the past, and not be afraid of the future or living in the future. Just be here and now in this space so that you can truly witness everything around you, right? I just think so many more people who are sitting down to that practice. I think they said, I recently saw like a study that said something like 3 million people took up meditation in the last 2 years, which I'm like, yeah, do it up, you guys, do it up. Like, let's all hit those pillows, which you don't need a pillow. You can sit wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can stand, you can walk, you can do whatever you want when it comes to that. But I'm so excited that 3 million people went, I'm going to do meditation, because when we all collectively choose to just find calm and peace, like Derek's saying, we are a mirror. What's happening inside of us is going to be happening outside of us. So if you are a ball of anxiety and chaos, congratulations. Why won't the dog stop barking? Why won't the kids stop screaming? Why is that person honking their horn? Take a breath. Bear witness. Slow down, come into the space. I guarantee you can shift the room in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. You can have the dog will lay down, the children will find something to do, and there will not be a horn honking in the front yard. I promise. Like, because we are just getting back what is reflecting from us. So change the conversation. You are empowered to be able to do that yourself. You can do that yourself. I promise you. I
have proof for that, actually. A program that I was, how you say you make the programs. Someone wanted a vibration of gratitude, and did my meditation, did my searching, soul searching, and I came up with a program called the Vibration of Gratitude. So she was the guinea pig. So I said, why don't you be the guinea pig? You try it out and you tell me how it works. Well, I got a message the next day saying, it's amazing, because usually these places I go, I have to kind of tiptoe, because the people are really angry and I get all this stuff. So I got to watch well, I went there today and this person was just gushing with love and gratitude and stuff. I didn't have to worry. Then she went to the other spot where that same kind of thing. Oh, this person, it was a different person. That wasn't even the same person. And, because she was vibrating with gratitude herself, that's what was reflecting exactly what she said. And that's just proof, because that's what happened. She was vibrating in the frequency of gratitude, and it radiated from her, and everybody else was affected, So it's
so powerful. It's so powerful. Frequency is so powerful. And it's funny, because when we talk about computers, or we talk about phones, or we talk about telephones and all these things, people are like, oh, frequencies. Like, I need to be able to get all the bars in this area. And like, I want to be able to. But then when we talk about ourselves as an antenna, as a frequency, they get like, I actually don't think that's a thing. But literally, you're seeing it every single day. You're seeing it over and over and over. So tune your frequency. Take the time to play frequencies for yourself. Take the time to ring bells, clear your energy. call for protection on your energy, protecting your space, being a vessel of love and light, like all the different things that come into your head. Everyone will be called to say whatever they say. Some people are like, well, what's the script I need to say? You don't have to have a script. Just close your eyes, take a breath, and what comes in? What are you hearing? And then call for that energy to be reflected in you so that you can have that as a reflection of your daily life. You can have that as a reflection of what is going to show up for you. Derek, how long have you been writing these frequency programs?
Well, probably, really since 2019, actually, when this Healy boom started, because I do have the devices, and what you'd have to do is you hold these electrodes and you come and sip Mai Tais and underneath the coconut tree at my house, so you're doing this. And then, but now, we have the ability to actually program them, and I can send it to your Healy wherever you are in the world. So 2019 was when I really started getting into it. And my first program was solfeggio, with the 9 different frequencies, right?
Yeah.
And I remember putting it out there, and I just put everything in it, and I put my intention and my love, and I always put something in that it's called it's called the mana. And we all have mana, but it's kind of like a universal spiritual energy healing power that we all have. And that's important. And as you said about, your power, I always mention that it's called the power of command. So we all have that. And what you have to do is you have to tell the program or the frequencies, what do you want? And it gives them the direction and power to do the magic that happens. So we have to be a little part of that. And we can't, some people can just press the button and things will happen, but I want to say you really got to, get involved with that. And what happens is it's a snowball. It just starts, you have this energy, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then that's how it happens. Call it the snowball effect.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, and I love that, a lot of people, and I heard you say this because you said, as I'm doing this, as I'm helping people, I'm helping the world. And a lot of people get really like, well, how are you helping the world? How you helping the world? And I love that you said it, because a lot of people think that their aspect of them being this grain of sand doesn't affect the world. But each one of us affects the world, because we have the butterfly effect, we have cause and effect, we have a reaction and a response effect. And so in the space of you helping people come to that space of love, come to that space of now, come to that space of being and purpose and passion, they then go out in the world and they drop their stone, and you have a ripple effect. And so each one of those frequencies is emanating, it's going out, and it's touching other lives. Like the woman that you were saying said, oh, well, I went to this place where everyone's always mean. Well, she went in and she was like in a whole different frequency. And so that person then touched the lives of the people behind the counter, and they were nice and they were wonderful. And then they turned around and they were nice and wonderful to another person. And then she went into the next store and they did the same. And so when a lot of people will hear that and they'll say, oh, well, how does one person change the world? It's having the small effect on helping the one person and passing the light, passing the candle, passing the letter per se. Like when we were little and we played the telephone game, right? And you say, hi, now you say, and then, oh, you say, and then you say. And ideally what you're going to say is, I love you. And then the next person will say, I love you. And I love you. And it will keep going, and it will keep going, and it will keep going, because that's what frequency is, you guys. That's how frequency shows up. And again, we go back to the space of the heart is 500,000 times more powerful than the brain. And Derek's work directly correlates with the frequency of the heart and of the being and of the soul and of the spirit, and how that emanates it and magnifies it and reminds you that it's in there. Because the outside world kind of goes, shh, be smaller, shh, be smaller, get back in the box. And we're saying, no, remember, you're as big as the mountains. You're as powerful as the oceans. You are the song of creation. Like, get out there, be that person, touch that soul next to you, wake them back up. Remember who you are. Remember where you're going. Remember why you're here. And like, his frequencies help you do that. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say all those things you said, that there's frequencies for that. Remember who you are. You are this. Them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that those are in some of the programs. Those type of energy. And you mentioned how people said their brains, they cannot turn them off. One example that I give for people to help them is, so let's say you're walking down the street and you smell some cookies. Somebody's cooking cookies in your neighborhood, so you're going, gosh, that smells really good. But if you look for them, you can't see the smell. So what you have to do is you have to close your eyes, and then you use your nose, and you'll hit it on target, right? So that's I tell people that's like turning off your brain. See, so if you turn off your brain, then you can feel more. It's just like that. So if you turn that off your brain, you're going to feel all these other things. And that's how I kind of explain to help people turn off their brain, because a lot of people don't know how. And also I know how to do it because I did so many drugs. So I killed all those brain cells that I don't need. So I can just do it, just turn it off, because I don't have that many brain cells. So it's easy for me.
It was a practice phase. I don't know. Yeah. I feel you, Derek. I see you where you at. I was like, well, that was obviously re-practicing for out-of-body experiences and for astral projection. But some people just call it tripping acid. What up? Like, everybody goes through their stages. Like, yeah. But like it's like a lot of people will say, oh well, well, how did that? Why didn't you keep doing those things? And it's like, well, because the evolution says you don't even need that. Mm-hmm. And when you're using something as a crutch, when you're using something as a debilitator, when you're using something to shut off, that's not the conversation that your true purpose and passion is. Your true purpose and passion is to turn on. It's to ignite. It's to be the fire. It's to be in the space of the now. And so taking and going, oh, well, look at me. I can do it without that. I can do it all without that. I can do it from within. I can feel that happy on my own. I can feel that magical on my own. I can call on the power of me to really emanate that desired feeling that you're getting from that external source. And I'm not hurting myself. Like, also, yay, because all of those things add up in the end, and you go, oh, well, now we got a health thing that's showing up. But in the space of working with you, people find you online. What's your website, Derek?
It's just DerekNakamura.com. It's all lowercase, and it's DEREK for Derek. Nakamura, NAKAMURA.com. And you'll find my website, and it talks all about, I guess, my Healy programs and a little bit other thing. I have another device called the Time Waver Med, and that's the one that sends things out, optimization lists without wires, without currents. It's connecting to your consciousness is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You don't need a Healy to work with Derek. You can just work with Derek. You don't need something else. You can go straight to him, and he will work with your consciousness. So like, think of it, guys, like a Reiki session. You're not always where the Reiki person is, or like a motion code. You're not always where the person is, or like any of those things. So he does his magic, and you don't need to be where he is, and you don't need to go buy a third party anything. You just say, hi, Derek, send him an email, press the button, purchase the thing, and he does get back to you, and then he'll set you up, and it just goes. It's quite fascinating and amazing.
Mhm.
Wanted to make sure we said that because I know some people, when they look, they say, oh, well, I have to go buy something else to work with you. And that's not the case. I
Yeah.
want to be very
Two
clear.
devices,
Not.
exactly. The one, like if you have a Healy, it's actually the child from both of the devices I have. It's, one is no wires and one is wires. And the Healy's pretty amazing because it's got both of those and it's only that big and it doesn't have that many zeros. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bought a couple more modules. I actually bought, if you've heard of the coaching module, well, Healy charges, I think like 285 for something like that. I spent probably 5,000 on my module. So see, that's the difference. But
Yeah.
and I got a lot more bells and whistles, but again, I'm not putting Healy down. It's a wonderful device. Both of them are.
Right.
Everything is made
All
by
of them are.
yeah, made by Time Waver in Germany. I have a lot of their stuff. I'm definitely invested in the Healy stuff because it's amazing, wonderful, powerful, and helps you connect to yourself. That's all. We're just
Right.
mentioning that it's all inside of us, and we just don't see that sometimes. We don't realize that. And once you tap into that, then it's limitless how much power we have. We create our reality, and I tell people you just need to paint a different picture on the wall, and that's all you need to do because you'll get there. It happened to me, I was in the gutter, right? And now look where I am today. And it's all, I created that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of people want it to be overnight. And you guys, there is no overnight solution. There is no magic pill.
No.
It is every single day you make choices. Every single day you have a thought. Every single day you react and respond to those thoughts. And so when you're showing up in that space, are you reacting and responding with the future that you desire? Or are you reacting and responding in the space of neglect and disconnection? And you need to choose to show up in, this is where love takes me. This is where I go when I listen to my heart. And that's the part that's going to get you exactly to whatever you're dreaming of, whatever that enough happiness, enough money, enough friends, enough everything. You go there by listening to your heart, not by saying, I need to be a social media freak out and I need to have 1 million followers and $1 million, because that's not real life. And even for those people, they're renting those cars, they're renting those houses, and it's all marketing. So congratulations, in case you didn't know that. love it, but no. I think it needs to be said. Sorry, I think it needs to be said because a lot of people don't realize that it is for many of those people as quote unquote influencing. They're renting those things. So what is your heart space? Because don't chase somebody else's dream either. Chase your dream, chase your passion. And even if your passion is playing Pokemon Go every day, you know what? There's people out there making $1 million a day playing Pokemon Go because that's their passion. Like, congratulations, that's the world we live in today. So find your heart space, find the call for you, and then follow it. Derek,
be yourself. I
Yeah,
want to say be yourself, because you said all these people are chasing this thing. I always get this, well, the other person's like that. I go, you got to be yourself. And that's, it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Right. People stress themselves out so bad trying to be something they're not or somebody they're not. Just like they're like, when you're by yourself with them, you're like, oh, you're like so like chill or relaxed. Like, I love this. And you're like, well, what's different? And you're like, oh, you're being you. Oh, okay. So be that person each and every day. Show up, because there's only one you. There's a whole lot of people pretending to be somebody else in the world, but there's only one you, and you're a magical gift, and you're here for a reason, because you showing up as you is going to actually allow you to be your passion and purpose in the world, right? Because your you essence is here to touch somebody else's life too, right?
Yeah.
Right. I always ask everybody, if there's one thing, if we were to stop right now, because we're getting ready, we're going to close out, you guys. I know it's been an amazing conversation, but if we were to hang up right now, what would you be like, oh, I wish I said this?
Oh, I didn't say everything already.
No, it's not.
I didn't, huh? Well, my last statement here. Yeah, I think we all need to, really look in the mirror and see deeper than what's on the outside. Because it's on the inside. Everything that's on the inside is really where it's at. This is just the outside part. So definitely look on the inside of yourselves and know that you have power and you can change the world and change the vibration of the planet and raise everybody up. And that's my purpose here, to help raise the vibration of the planet. And I'm doing it with these different programs and frequencies and what you said, the ripple effect, because it's all over the world. I got orders from just the other day from Dubai, from Netherlands, from Italy. And, I got to do this translation thing, all my programs, because they don't understand English. So I'm doing that too. But, and just, like I said, be yourself. That's really important. And spread love.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much, Derek, for being here. Everybody, every week when you check in, we're going to put the notes into the description on this podcast, but you can also find a behind the scenes on our blog where we've had a little conversation in the background with Derek, where you can get some other tidbits of his information. All of those spaces will also have the links where you can connect with Derek in all of his different platforms and on his website, and so that you can learn more about him and what he's doing and how to connect with him and work with him in the future. So thank you so much for showing up, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And we want to hook you up because you're a loyal podcast listener. So head on over to www.rebeccapackard.com to get a special introductory price when you sign up for an Emotion Code session. Head on over to our website at www.rebeccapackard.com.